Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's Sunday Attract Mode, brought to you by Lady Arcaders. We just saw Dragoren race through Palace of the Dead, and we're continuing our theme of death and dying with the two inevitabilities in life, death and taxes. Usurper % by selcouthmind. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is selcouthmind, or Sel for short, and I am very pleased to bring you Death and Taxes. Usurper % is going to be the category I'll show today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Death and Taxes, it's a 2D narrative game where you are a brand new Grim Reaper, and you are working in just an office, and rather than going out and reaping souls, you get profiles, pieces of paper sent to you, and it is up to you to decide who lives, who dies, all that fun stuff. But in this run in particular, we're going to do some interesting things. We'll talk a little bit more about the category as the run goes on. We're going to do this in New Game Plus, and so time will begin upon me selecting New Game Plus. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, with me, I have the lovely Critique Quartz, who's going to be helping out with some comms, if you want to say hello.
Hello, I'm Critique Quartz, here to talk again about death and dying. That's just my day today.
All right. Well, if everyone is ready, we shall begin in 3, 2, 1, start. And we're going to immediately skip the intro. You'll get to see our fantastic costume later. And we're just going to click through. We have a sort of a standardized thing we'll click here. Just to generally keep on sort of the nice side of Fate. We do want him to kind of like us right now in the early days. It's helpful. Again, New Game Plus file. Oh, I threw a profile in there. That's no good. I just got to clean off my desk a little bit. So pardon me as I just get all of that out of the way. And then we're gonna move this. Gotta be tidy, you know? Alright, our calendar. Alright, so some things you'll see here as these profiles have 4 things on them. And those are different categories. I'll let Critique explain those in a minute. But our instructions were 1 human has to die, so 1 has died. And the other one's gonna live. Yes, Critique, could you explain what those 4 categories are, please?
Yeah, of course.
Remember, I see.
So, there's all those different like indicators on there, and part of our daily actions requires that we go to the desk, mark the profiles to who lives and dies, and each of the profiles has 4 different stats: ecology, prosperity, health, and peace, and those icons represent those. These can be positive or negative, and we can see if they are the positive or negative using the Infernal Illuminator, which is that fancy little light there. The snow globe actually that Sel left on the table also can show us whether or not those are Threnody or Desolation. Can you explain that, Sel?
The Threnody of Desolation is this little snow globe, and it sort of shows us the overall like state of the world, how it's doing. So right now it's actually doing pretty good. The sky is still kind of blue, but you'll see as I'm marking things, you can see the little blue pluses and the little red minuses coming and going, and that's impacting the state of the world.
So do we want the world to be more positive or less positive on this ending?
For Usurper %, it doesn't actually matter.
Really is not much else to say.
So there's a whole bunch of different endings, but with Usurper %, we're actually going to end up, spoiler alert, killing all the humans. So it's going to be a bad ending regardless. It's like right now this is a balanced ending. Things are just kind of neutral. And this should be the day where... Aha. On this day, Fate tells us to mark a specific profile to live, so I turned off the lamp so I could make sure that I Did not miss which one, because he gets very upset if we kill the profile he says to let live. Because we're doing Usurper percent, we don't want him to get too upset with us, because if he gets upset with us, we risk getting fired on day 11 when we're going to kill all the humans that day that appear on our desk. We'll get 7 profiles. We're gonna get rid of all 7 of them because of another character who we'll meet shortly gives us some special instructions. And it is following those instructions that is the reason why... the science background. I read that as a space background. It's following those instructions on day 11 that take us onto the Usurper percent path instead of one of the other endings.
I noticed you're clicking through quite a lot of dialogue. Is that just the game?
For speed. It's just for speed. There's so much dialogue in this game. All voice acted, which is amazing. Not super common for, I think this is like a solo or like super tiny indie dev project. But yeah, we're clicking through most of it just for speed. There we had an option to ask him like, what about underage profiles, all these different things. We don't care. We're gonna talk to Conscience.
We are
Death.
And
their conscience, yes.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, critique.
I was gonna say, Conscience is the character that you were alluding to earlier, and is the one we kind of want to listen to get the specific ending, Usurper.
That is correct, yes. Right, so as you can see, we have a whole lot of instructions. So I'm gonna quickly first go through and see. We have a morgue assistant, says to spare anyone in a medical background. Sometimes it's kind of vague what counts as medical. Okay, and then we need to, at least 3 aged 35 and younger need to die. Right now I'm really following Fate's instructions, just because that makes life easier for me. Like I said, when I break his rules in a little bit. This also tells you how many have died and how many have lived. So total 6 dead, 2 are gonna live. There we go.
Okay.
Also this gerbil. We're gonna use it in a bit.
Do you have the option to change if you've already indicated somebody is going to die? Can you change it to live?
So there is an item that you can purchase from Mortimer, who's a fantastic pirate skeleton, 10 out of 10, one of the best NPCs in this game. Because this is a New Game Plus file, I've bought everything I need to. But you can buy an item from him, which is a giant eraser. It's hilarious. But yes, you can buy this giant eraser from him, and you can use that once to erase, basically change your decision.
Wow.
But it's one-time use, and then you have to go buy it again. And the more times you buy it in a save file, or per play, through the story, it gets expensive.
I see. Excellent. This now, your conduct. So
and
much
this
so,
would probably be a good
Speaking
time for some donations
Do
if
not
we
let
had
this
any.
cloud your judgment.
Oh, except for this. I'm gonna say I like ice cream, because that's just a fun little Easter egg, and if you select that dialogue option and you successfully get to the end of day 28 in a save file, you get an achievement for it.
That's crisp and clear like the azure pond.
Alright, so
It's very close.
Fate tells us we can do it. We are literally made for death. I almost said critique. Conscience is a very interesting character. You, and you, and you, and you two can live. Which the world's gonna be on fire tomorrow, because that was all negative.
On the bright side, the game, this ending only lasts for 28 days, correct?
All endings are 28 days, unless you're going for firing percent, where you can get yourself fired on, I think if you do it right, day 1, or at least day 2. Ah yes, surprise, we're gonna deal with plants today. We'll let the national symbol live, we'll let the companion live. You know what? I'm gonna break the rules and I'm going to only kill 2 plants because I can't. I'm a softie. I can't kill plants. Humans, this is fine, but plants, can do.
Yeah. I mean, that'll help, right? It'll make the world not as on fire.
Okay. We do not want to annoy the cat because the cat will cause massive chaos for us if we make it angry. So we give it a squeak toy instead. And we broke the rules, so we
on your own.
got no money.
You know why?
Oh wow.
And you don't have what it takes to succeed.
There's a lot of verbal abuse in this workplace. I don't know if I feel comfortable like maintaining my employment here.
It's just conscience. Conscience likes to cause some trouble for us. You also see this phone buzzing. What it's doing is it's basically saying that the in-game social media site, that's a very text-based one, it gives you little updates about sort of the state of the world, but also if you've marked a profile to live or die the day before, it will impact. Yeah, the cat basically ignores us because it's too busy focused on the gerbil, which is great. But yes, it'll tell us a little bit about how things are going.
But maladies are rabid, a complete. Why can't they just? Your disease will spread.
Conscience there is saying he. Oh, we gotta talk to Conscience again.
Hey. What?
Yes, and so now Conscience is saying to listen to them.
Let's be on.
Which is important because today is day 11, which means we get this red profile. The instructions here says, I want you to doom all the profiles today. So we're gonna do that. And this is why we've been following Fate's rules so carefully up until now, and we gave the squeak toy because the cat's not going to care to report to Fate because the cat's distracted by the squeak toy. And because we've been so good, this is our first strike. Fate's not going to really care, we're just going to get a little slap on the wrist. But now we are on the path of helping out Conscience instead of Fate.
Changing size, proving our loyalties, going for that sweet, sweet Usurper percent. And Sol actually mentioned there's quite a few different endings in this game. I'm counting
a dust storm that's
7, 8 different endings on the leaderboard, each of which have their own individual leaderboard. So quite a few different endings in this game.
Yeah, they're all based off of sort of the in-game achievements. At the very end I can show sort of the end section where I just have to be careful to make sure I do kind of comply with his rules again today. If you make too many mistakes too many days in a row, it tends to get a little bit annoyed. There we go. Yes, at the very end I can show sort of the in-game achievement page, and that shows all the possible endings. And the categories are on SRC are largely based off of that. Right now, I am sort of the only active runner. There was a fair bit of activity for a couple years with this game, and then it kind of died out. And I've kind of come and revived it, which has been very interesting to be involved in the community. Alright, and Critique, is there any other fun facts about this game that you have there on your nice little list as I focus on today's instructions?
I am sure. We have a Sel was very kind to give me a list of notes before we started this, and she actually has a breakdown of the different days where you can talk to Conscious, because Conscious is, of course, a character you have to interact with Usurper, and there's just a literal list of days where you could possibly do so. Day 11, of course, kill everybody. But one fact that Sel did really point out and wanted to mention, if you are interested in this game at all, it's available on PC and Switch. So it's honestly really accessible. Probably grab it. It's also a lot like Papers, Please, in its layout, which is super interesting.
Yeah, it was also in a couple of the large itch bundles. So if you bought any of the like really big ones, you probably have it. You also may have noticed there I got $200 yesterday, and that's because I was I followed the instructions partially. All right, we're told to let this one live because our instructions is that anyone related to transport industry has to die, and that's a flight attendant. So, you know, we're just slowly starting to we'll go to you. How many to die? 5. Let's go. 3.
So this is probably another good place for some donations. As we get more and more of these, Sel has to focus and read through them and actually think.
There's a lot of instructions.
Yeah. I like how the paper in the top right corner is getting dirtier as you go on. Like, it just looks like it's covered in soot and ash.
You should wait until we get the day with the instructions from Fate of just go with the flow. He literally doesn't care what we do.
I have returned.
Is that the day you kill everyone?
No, it's in the final week, but not quite there.
What? Overall, in fact,
Very
I
loyal.
have to tell you something. It is all me. Do you know? I have noticed your.
I somehow messed up on clicking. I think he started to try and explain the plan to me, which wasn't good. But we're still on Usurper %, not Fate's pet %. Yes, you were about to say.
So, I was gonna ask, what's the difference between Usurper and Fate's pet? Is it just whether or not you side with Conscious or Death?
Yes. So whether we are siding with Fate or with Conscience is the big difference. We have a queen here. We're gonna let the queen live because I just, you know, I'm in that mood. So in Usurper %, we are working with Conscience to ultimately get rid of all of humanity, but also get rid of Fate. The last profile I will kill, spoiler alert, is going to be Fate. And then I will take over his job.
To ask you
Okay.
This reminds me.
Is the cat okay?
Although personally,
the cat becomes we become Fate, and therefore Lady Poddington continues to reside with us. Lady Poddington is just Fate's cat, regardless of who Fate is.
This is the best possible ending. We get a cat and also a promotion.
The dusk nears.
Well, you'll see at the end, it's not really a promotion. But yes, the main difference with Fate's pet is on day 14, which we have now passed, we're on day 16. If in our dialogue options we have told Fate about how much we hate humans and we wish we could be allowed to kill more of them, because in the early days you're often only selecting 1 or 2 profiles to die and the rest are living.
Grim, should I... Now,
now Grim decides he wants to go and start writing a book.
Well, off you go.
He decides to go be a creative. But Fate's pet %, where... I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah. You were talking about what happens in Fate.
Right.
Pets %.
So essentially in the early days, we talked to him a lot about how much we hate humans, we wish we could get rid of more of them, and all of these things. And then on day 14, which we kind of saw. He kind of went into that dialogue, but not fully. He'll start to explain his plan for something that he refers to as Great Dying, where he intends to just get rid of all of them.
Why do they exist?
Okay, so we're killing everybody in both endings. It's just who we're buddy-buddy with.
Correct. Now, it's also different, though, from Takeover Percent, where even if you've sided with Fate and worked with him, you'll get an option at the very end to encourage him to step down, and you'll take his place. But that's Takeover Percent, not Fate's pet percent. And so we don't want that. We instead want to just kind of be firmly stuck to a desk, working for Fate for the rest of our life. Are we alive? I don't know. Are we alive? I really don't know.
Existence.
For existence, whatever that existence shall be.
Grim, welcome.
There's a lot of elevators in the afterlife.
Now I bid
there is. At least the elevator music's really solid.
All time will be engaged tonight.
Hey there. What you up to? Start.
Yeah,
there's a lot of voices.
Nothing. It's not a... No wonder Fate picked you for the crafting pot.
Conscience is again bugging us about the fact that fate, the fate of humans is kind of in our hands. I will say some of these profiles are really wild to read when you're playing casually. I do really recommend sitting down and like reading them, because there's some wild professions that exist. The first casual playthrough I did, I ended up getting an ending which was a zombie apocalypse, and the last two profiles I left were some random person and the President of the United States.
Grim.
I refused to kill the President.
I see. Yes.
And then the next day I was left with one profile and it just said last human on Earth, and it was the former president. So I was like, that's a beautiful little detail. Yes, any humans who seem suspicious have to die.
What does suspicious mean?
I don't know. They all seem suspicious to me. So you know what? They're all just gonna die. It's fine. It's all right. They're all gonna die anyways. So
okay,
you know, it's fine. So where that's useful, though, an instruction like that, it comes when you're trying to do one of the various endings.
Yes, this is your third.
Oh yes, this is our final warning. So he really doesn't like it when we kill all the profiles, even though he wants all the humans dead. He doesn't like it when we do that. So slightly risky, but I'll be fine at this point because he's so distracted writing his book. It's fine. One human must be spared. Bartender, you can live.
I'm here for that. I mean, what a helpful profession to have.
Oh, and Conscience wants to talk to us again. Yeah, where that's useful, an instruction like that one is where you're aiming for like a utopia ending or a balance ending, where you care a little bit more about the rambling there about human sickness and death there, where when you're aiming for one of those things where you want to balance the 4 stats in such a way, it's really helpful to have those like free days. All right, so we have instructions to doom someone named Ron tomorrow.
Who is Ron and why do we want to doom them?
I don't know. Conscience just doesn't like Ron. Maybe it's their ex.
Is Conscience dating mortal people?
I don't know.
I feel like that's a conflict of interest on some level.
Whatever. Why am I
Yes. And Fate is really angry today because he's been required to come back. We have the nice little thing of nothing is the inevitable things in life are death and taxes. He gets really angry if you pick any option besides death and taxes in that dialogue tree. It's great.
I mean, they did write the entire game around that one phrase, so...
Go with the flow. Toodles, Fate. He's in quite a mood today. You're a student, you can live. You can live because you seem helpful. If I can click on you. Sometimes even when you click on a box, it doesn't always click it, so it's a little slight bit of RNG. Sure, you can live. Sure. Roughly 50-50. And Conscience has something to say to us again today.
Grim, I have been thinking of a listen. In fact,
his death's so bad. Yeah, we wanted to skip. We don't want to talk to you. I'm sorry. In Fate's Pet percent, I'll listen to you. I'll hear you out. But you know what? This is Usurper percent. Also, Conscience. Conscience breaks the fourth wall here. And comments about the fact that I've been theoretically playing casually, been playing for quite a while. But speedrun's not very long. 4 need to die, you can live, and die. Yeah, and also, just to quickly show, this is the social media feed. You can see different things. We might be heading towards the zombie ending, just having looked at that briefly. There's a few different sort of crises that can occur. Last time I ran this, I got the environmental crisis, but we might be heading towards that one.
You are
this is interesting. Why is he not writing his book?
See,
is it because you've been so bad that he has to be here?
No, his bosses did not like that he took off time without their permission. So what he had to come back.
I'm hearing that there's actually 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and bureaucracy.
Yes. Yes. Bureaucracy. This game really proves that. Alright, Conscience wants to talk to us again. We should be nearing some of the final days. I think that's day 25?
Should my prose be more? Why would you even say that?
I do not care about literature.
What is...
Oh yes, we're getting the zombie ending. Ooh, this is exciting.
Accomplishment. Slam. They never...
Do all of the endings end poorly for the human race?
No, so there's Utopia percent where of those 4 things, at least 2 of them are in the positive. And then there's balance where things are just kind of like neutral. Oh yeah, Conscience finds them really annoying. And then tell some sort of story. Yes, doesn't really matter. Basically just telling us it's gonna be bad from the end here. And we're gonna... chaotic.
Yeah. You also mentioned that there's 2 other rooms that we don't visit at all. I know you mentioned the marketplace earlier. What's that second room we don't see in the speedrun?
So the second room is Cerberus's Den, which is like a bar area, and on the weekends, you can go visit. So it's open 2 days per week, and you can go like order drinks and talk to talk to different NPCs, learn some things. I believe that was added in an update. Because when I first played this game shortly after it released, I never saw that there. So I believe that's a more recent update. Yes, we are nearing the end. Tomorrow's the last day. We're gonna kill Fate. Because that was the last humans.
28 days to either ruin your job, ruin the planet, or reach Utopia. You're either really good at your job or incredibly bad at it.
Leave me to my grand labor.
Oh, he's almost finished his book, which, you know, we don't really care. But you know what? Good for him. Good for him. All right, fate must die, your friend and benefactor. All right. We hear that bell that indicates that we have successfully completed Usurper %, but we're not quite done yet. Time's not over. Because we come up here, and there is no fate. Sit behind the table.
Bit lonely at the This is what you were aiming for. And here you're the
And you know what? We're the king of the castle, but the world's ruined. So we're, you know, we're in charge of literally nothing.
Behold your throne.
I mean,
And time.
wow. What
Yeah.
an interesting game.
So, and then this is where we see sort of the different categories. So prosperity is, or peace is sort of neutral. Health is like through the floor. You know, this is prosperity, the first one. This is peace, the other one's prosperity. So peace is also through the floor. And so depending on different things will determine sort of which you'll see at the end here. And this is how we confirm that we got Usurper %, because our old boss is just sitting there dead behind the desk. So that's Usurper %.
Amazing.
Fellow traveler, that was fun, wasn't it?
And this is Mortimer. We're just gonna skip
says the
through.
eternal recurrence of all things.
Mortimer the Pirate. You should go visit him in a casual playthrough. He's great. He's got some great dialogue.
If I'm correct, there's some other portions of the game you would like to show off. Is that right?
Yes, I'm going to show off some of the many amazing costume outfits in this game, just because there's so many of them. They're super cool. I just need to get through the credits here, which the credits are also done as a as like the profiles. In order to progress, you have to select one of the boxes. It doesn't matter which box you select.
They just explode into skulls.
Well, if you select live, they'll explode into little living symbols. You also see here, as I'm sort of going through quickly, all these different voice actors for all these different characters who we don't meet. But I will say this is possibly some of the most creative credits I've seen in an indie game in quite a while. I quite like them. I think they're very cool.
It's always such a shame when you have such a beautifully, like, a game with such beautiful art and such great voice acting, and speedruns only show off, like, 30 minutes of it.
Yeah, the voice acting is so good. And like I said, if you go to Cerberus's bar and you talk to some of the characters there, they're all fully voice acted. Great deal of complexity, lots of choices in lines, and it's just so good. I cannot recommend this game casually enough. Especially, like I said, if you bought any of the Racial Justice and Equality bundle on itch or the Ukraine bundle, it's in both of those, so you may have it already. But yes, let's show off some of the fantastic outfits in this game. So I've curated a few. So to do that, I'm going to click New Game, and we're going to go scroll through this intro to the end. This is us as a human. Actually, no, this is Fate. Sorry, in the New Game one, we get to see our situation of how we end up dying and becoming a Grim Reaper. So this was the outfit you saw me use in the run. We have a few others, so let me sort of see which one I land upon first. Aha, pumpkin. So we're going to do the one I have dubbed. Don't mind its screen scrolling around on me. Nightmare Before Christmas. We have a nice jack-o'-lantern and red and white hood. Then we'll see what comes next. There's a few masks we won't get to see. Alright, this one. I just call this Racing Bird. I don't know why. It reminds me of a race car driver.
It's the goggles.
It has to be the goggles. It has to be. Alright, and then we're gonna do what I call Ooh Kitty.
I saw Ooh Kitty and I was like, is this calling out the white mages in the chat? Since you're Since you have Final Fantasy right beforehand.
Not intentionally, because I don't play Final Fantasy. But yes, Uwu Kitty. And then we're gonna go back to this cloak, and we're gonna find the skull. This is just a classic Grim Reaper. There is actually an achievement in-game for completing the game with just this character. And then one more that I have called Professor Davy Jones, because I am just very fond of it. As I scroll through, there we go, Professor Davy Jones. So many different outfits. Chat, I would love to know which one you particularly enjoy. I do have to click yes to starting, but I can also immediately quit the game, which was not intended. Woo! Let's relaunch that quickly, because there's one other thing I need to show very fast. And that is the gallery. So these are the different endings very quickly. So this is Usurper %, and this is Fate's Pet %. And so as you can see on Itch, which is the platform I'm playing on, Usurper is much more popular than Fate's %. And you can also see all these ones here, where these are where the 4 different things are high, and the 4 different things are low. And then as well, this is Chaos, Utopia, and Balance %, which is extraordinarily hard to get. That is why on all platforms it is the least achieved ending, because it is extremely difficult. But yes, this has been Death and Taxes. I hope you enjoyed ending all of humanity with me. Don't worry, they deserved it. If you read the lore, you find out we're not actually just randomly picking people to die. They have done things that have put them into situations where it's kind of their own fault, and we just happen to let them live or die, you know? But yes, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you all for watching.
That is an amazing showcase. Thank you for showing it off, Sel. Where can we find you?
Yes. If you want to find more of me, you can find me on Twitch at selcouthmind or at the selcouthmind on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah.
Well, everybody should go give Sel a follow. She's a great streamer, and she is always interesting. She does Print-a-thon as well. So yeah, give her a follow, and that was Death and Taxes. We'll be heading to intermission once again. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back once again. I am Critique Quartz, and I was your host for this wonderful double feature attract mode. We got to see Dragorin show off Palace of the Dead levels 1 through 70, and we got to see selcouthmind, Usurper, show us some of the inevitabilities in life in Usurper % for Death and Taxes. So coming up on attract mode, we have a very special showcase, the NES Randomizer Shuffler by Demarine. That will be Thursday at our normal time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Please show up. That's going to be great. She is very excited, as always, to show off some interesting BizHawk Shuffler %, as it is. Of course, submissions for attract mode are always open. We have, of course, a full lineup through September, but October is coming up, and if you are a fan of scary games, please go ahead and get your submission in. The sooner that is in, the easier it'll be for our lovely team to schedule that. And I'm gonna be honest, October is always really hard to schedule for, so if you want to show something off, go ahead and get that in now. That being said, that's it for today. Thank you for showing up and supporting us. Again, Lady Arcaders is an all-women's gaming collective. We have a cozy private community. If you want to get an invitation to that, please let one of our mods know, and we will get you an invite. But that being said, our time together is over, so stick around for the raid. We're going to go say hi to Dark Souls. She's playing Xenoblade. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.